Hello, good morning. It actually is the morning. It is 8:15. It is the 31st of August, which, does that mean it's the last day of summer, technically? When is the last day of summer? When is the end of summer? Oh, 22nd of September. I thought that was autumn. When does autumn start? 22nd of September. Oh, so technically we have another 22 days of summer, but it feels like a good time to wrap it up, I guess, and just, yeah, chat through some of my summer favorites from this year. Summer 2024 favorites. With these like favorites videos, I don't want to promote too many products or encourage like too much purchasing or buying unless it's like things that I truly believe in and swear by. So a lot of these are just general things in life that I've enjoyed. So we'll talk about books, movies, music, and just other things, I guess. I wanted to start with the sort of most relevant to this channel, which is all my knitting and crocheting favorites. And I thought I would just start with my favorite project that I made this summer, which it has to be this cardigan. It's crochet. I used up a bunch of scrap cotton yarn for it. I just love it so much. And the reason why this has made it onto my favorites is because I actually have worn this summer multiple times, which shouldn't be a shocker, but I really struggle wearing my own pieces. And this has just fit in perfectly into my wardrobe. It serves a function. It filled like a need and sort of a gap in my wardrobe that I had, which was a nice summery cardigan that I can throw on sort of at the end of a warm evening when it starts to get a bit chilly, and that's exactly how I have worn it. I get so many compliments on this, which is very sweet as well. I think it obviously does like attract a lot of attention, but I don't feel like out of my comfort zone wearing this, even though it has so many different colors and it's quite like girly and pink toned. I would 100% make another one of these if it hadn't taken me so long. This probably will be the only one I ever make of these, but it's fine. I don't need 10 of them. I have one now. Try to include some other projects, but none of them compete, so this is the only one on my list. Then I wanted to share my favorite yarn this summer, and it has to be this Sistrine Grain cotton yarn. I think this was also my summer favorite last year. I didn't make a summer favorites video last year, but this is just an absolute favorite yarn of mine for the summertime. I really wanted to commit to using more cotton this summer. The past few years I've been really struggling with cotton. I don't know, I never really enjoyed using it. I definitely prefer crocheting with it than with knitting, but I have made some knit projects with this cotton yarn and I think I've been converted. I want everything to be cotton now. I think especially after this jacket, I realize how wearable, how breathable, how comfortable cotton yarn is. The reason why I really like this cotton more than the Hobby Friends cotton yarn that I've also used this summer is that I find this really nice to work with. I like that this is slightly imperfect, like slightly brushed, whereas the Hobby cotton yarn is a bit more smooth. It also helps that this is very affordable and I now have a shop in town where I live. So whenever I run out for a project, I just go into town and I buy a new bit of yarn. So love this so much. Then I have actually followed a lot of patterns this summer, which is quite rare for me. I am very much a freehand project person. I really realized this summer that there is a big difference between a well-written pattern and a not so well-written pattern. Obviously that is completely subjective. There has been some patterns that I found a lot harder to follow and some that I just love, and the ones that made the favorites list for the summer have been the Josephine die ring patterns. I followed 2 of them to make a couple baby pieces in my latest video, and I loved her instructions. It was so easy to follow. She didn't overcomplicate anything. It was just like enjoyable to make the projects in comparison to some other ones where I really struggled. Halfway through I got so demotivated because everything was so difficult to understand and I felt like everything was very much overcomplicated. She doesn't do that. Her patterns are literally perfect. So I'll definitely be trying some more of hers. There's also maybe some more jumpers, maybe something for me rather than for a baby. Pretty sure she is coming out with a book, but it's only in Danish for now. As soon as the English version comes out, I am getting that book. I love her. Talking of books, I have been reading so much this summer, which is so nice. I've actually made a page on Notion where I now keep track of all the books that I read and I give them little stars, just because I don't love Goodreads and this is just a lot simpler and a lot more concise. August has been a very good reading month. I read 4 books and all of them got 4 stars. So far this year, only 1 book has gotten 5 stars. So just as reference, back in June, Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I have seen some really bad reviews on TikTok for this book, but I loved it. I love a good toxic character. I am on the waiting list at my library for Blue Sisters, so I'm really, really keen to read that book as well. Then in August, I read Luster, which I really enjoyed from the first page. I was in it. I really enjoyed her writing. It was really easy to read. I was literally like speeding through the pages because her writing had such a natural flow. Again, the main character is so troubled, makes some terrible decisions, but I really loved the story and kind of like how everything wrapped up. Then I read The Water Cure, and I'm considering making this a 5-star book, to be honest, because I haven't stopped thinking about it. I feel like I know when a book is really good when I tell everyone in my life about it as I'm reading it. It kind of just stuck with me. I am currently reading Cursed Breads, also by Sophie McIntosh, which I also really enjoy. I haven't finished it yet, I'm halfway through, but it's also really, really good. I think she's just amazing. Then I read The Guest by Emma Cline, also got 4 stars. I feel like there's a very recognizable theme here of things that I enjoy in a book. Make the main character an absolute menace and I will enjoy it. The character in The Guest is insane, and it just follows her antics as she kind of gets involved with these really wealthy people on an island. I read a review where someone said that her writing makes you feel like you're on drugs. Like the character in the book is on drugs a lot of the time, but you feel it. You feel the anxiety, you feel the stress and the tension, and it's just so good. Then I just finished Briefly a Delicious Life, and that is a very wholesome book. I think all my other recommendations probably aren't that wholesome, they're a bit stressful, but this is really wholesome. It's about a ghost who lives in a monastery and a family moves into the monastery, and it's sort of about the ghost discovering things about this family's life. It is written so well. You learn about the family through the ghost's vision and understanding of them, which is so interesting. The main character, the ghost, is such a lovely character. It's written so well. It also still has like an underlying theme of just men being terrible to women, kind of like a bit of like female rage, which really matches the theme of The Water Cure. Honestly, probably my main summer favorite is just the library. I have been obsessed with the library. I will literally go to the library every 3 weeks, take back the books I've read, borrow another 2-3 books, and I'm done for the next following month, and I love it. The fact that you're slightly limited with what's available kind of means that you're just gonna have to go for a book. When I think back to when I used to read on my Kindle or buy books, a lot of the time I wouldn't pick up a book because I was worried I'd have buyer's remorse, or I'd pick up a different book instead. But it's literally free. If I don't like a book, I'll give it back. Like I said, because I'm limited, I'll pick up a book and I'm like, well, nothing else is available, so I'm gonna read that, and it's just been a joy. I get such a thrill of going to the library and hunting down the specific authors or the specific titles that I'm looking for. It's so fun. I really recommend it. Get yourself a library card. It's literally free and it's the best thing. Now, I haven't watched as many movies as I usually do, or as I would like to. I think because I've been reading so much more, I've been watching a lot less films, which you can't do it all really. But there's been a couple movies that I watched recently. The first one is Kneecap. I really didn't know what to expect. I don't really listen to the music apart from the remix they did with Fontaine's DC, but my boyfriend kind of told me a little bit about it, so we went, and it was equally a very funny film as it was devastating. The movie is essentially about how the band Kneecap came to be, but it's also about the erasure of the Irish language. Like I said, it is very funny in the way the story is told, but there's just some absolutely heartbreaking moments in it. It's probably the best music movie I've ever seen. I definitely recommend watching it. It is really, really good. Then I watched Immaculate, the film with Sydney Sweeney in it. I think that she also produced. I had very low expectations. I've kind of been getting into my horror films a bit more this year. I really enjoy them. I think they're really fun. And this was so good. Looking back on the books that I've just recommended, I'm very much having a female rage summer, and this film, it is so good. Sydney Sweeney plays this nun who goes to an Italian monastery, and you very quickly realise that something isn't quite right with the people there, and it kind of turns into a little bit of a cult thing. It's really hard for me to talk about the plot of the movie without giving it away. So I'm not gonna say it anymore. I guess you can go watch the trailer. Sydney Sweeney's performance is insane in this film. She's so good. I think I forgot how good of an actress she is. In terms of TV shows, I watched all the classic things that have come out this summer. I watched the latest series of The Boys. I watched House of the Dragon, which both were really good, but I don't think you need me to tell you that. One thing I did weirdly really enjoy is Fresh Meat. We watched it on Netflix. I love a good BBC Channel 4 silly little drama, and I'm trying to think, we must have finished something recently and then just like picked up Fresh Meat to replace that, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I was gutted when we finished it. It's just so silly. If you're from the UK, again, you probably don't need me to tell you that it's a good show. You probably have seen it already, but I have never seen it before. And yeah, if you haven't, it's a really funny little thing to just have on in the background. Now, moving on to some clothing pieces. One thing that you could not get off me this summer, weirdly, are these little Primark shorts. They're just normal like cotton jersey fabric. They're not like a exercise or bike short. They're just a very comfortable, jersey short. They kind of are loose enough so that they fall a little bit longer on my legs, so my bum isn't out, unless I like bend over, then my cheeks are out a little bit. I feel a bit bad sharing something that's from Primark. I obviously wouldn't encourage shopping there, but I think when it's something like this where it's a basic and I do genuinely wear these all of the time, I think it's fine. Like, I get good wear out of these. Then my uniform for the summer has literally just been a white t-shirt. This isn't groundbreaking, but I wanted to include this because I would always wear black t-shirt, but for some reason it just didn't hit this summer, and I've been wearing white t-shirts pretty much every day. It started with me wearing Ryan's t-shirt. He would just buy like a pack of 10 Fruit of the Loom white t-shirts, and there'd be this really nice thick heavy cotton, and I just think they're such a good basic thing to throw on, but they just look effortlessly cool. Just a bit more cool than a black t-shirt. That then also led me to obviously make my own graphic t-shirts, like this Granny Squares Designs one. I think after a few weeks of just wearing plain white t-shirts, I wanted some a bit more interesting, and I felt a lot of the band tees that I was interested in were mostly black t-shirts, but I wanted something light and airy. So yeah, those kind of like knit crochet merch t-shirts have also been an absolute staple in my summer wardrobe. Then at the beginning of spring, I believe, I think I shared me getting some new jewelry from Hey Harper, and I wanted to include it because I've been wearing it for the entire summer now, so I can actually review and let you know if it's any good. And I have to say, they are very, very good. I am wearing them in these two, and then I've got my two helix piercings up here and just here as well. I shower with them on, I've gone into the sea with them on, and they do not tarnish. Like, they don't lie when they say that their jewelry is waterproof. So I can happily say that they stand the test of time, and I really want to get some more as well. I'm kind of waiting for Black Friday, and hopefully they'll put on a good sale, and I want to get some more like chunkier ones as well. I think it's also very affordable for the quality. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Then a few more sort of random bits. First of all is this SPF. Just got the sun coming out for that one. Yeah, this SPF, which I started wearing recently. I already had a pretty good SPF and I wasn't really looking for one, but then I saw someone recommend this on TikTok. They were recommending the normal white version, but then I saw someone say in the comments that they also do a tinted one, which I am a little bit iffy about. I've tried some tinted SPF before. I've tried the La Roche one, and I really didn't get on with that at all. But I think this was only like £8 on Amazon, so I thought I'd give it a try because I do get a lot of redness, especially in the morning on my cheeks. So I thought maybe this would be good to use, and it really is. This is such a nice SPF. When this is done, or when it kind of comes to winter, I'm going to get the normal like white version of this as well, because this has been the perfect base for my makeup. If I don't put this on before I put on my makeup is awful. It's dry, it's creased, but with this underneath it, it's so dewy and so soft and so nice. It has really good coverage. It's really easy to cover. Like the tinted ones that I've used before, it was really hard to get the tint in. Maybe it's because of the formula. So it comes out, so I just spilt this everywhere, but it comes out green, and then when you put it on your skin, it blends in really, really nicely. I'm just obsessed with this. I can't recommend it enough. It is just so, so, so lovely. I kind of mentioned the gym earlier, but I've also really, really enjoyed lifting weights at the gym. I've now been consistently going to the gym for a year, but I want to say that my routine has really picked up over the last 6 months, and it has just become part of my routine without me even thinking about it. I try and go 3 times a week, and every day I do something different. So one day I'll do legs, one day I'll do back, and then another day I'll do arms. And eventually I did completely cut any type of cardio from my workouts. I used to do some walking on the treadmill and on the stepper as well. I don't know how to do cardio in like an easygoing way. I'd always really push myself to go quicker, to elevate higher. And I kind of saw again some like TikToks on how cardio affects your cortisol levels and kind of enhances your stress hormones. So I thought I would just try cutting cardio completely and focusing on lifting weights. And then obviously cardio in itself isn't a bad thing. I just needed to focus on more like lower impact cardio. So instead I started just walking everywhere and moving my body more naturally, like walking to the shops or going for a walk in between my lunch breaks and stuff like that. I've not been that consistent with it anymore like recently, but I do think it has really made a difference. It's meant that I much more enjoy my workouts because it doesn't feel like punishment. So I will literally just go do my weights. I don't sometimes even sweat that much because it's just weights, and it's really hard to actually completely exert yourself just lifting weights. Then I've been listening to a lot of podcasts this summer. It kind of goes with me going to the gym a lot more. I think these will continue to be just general podcast favorites, and a couple of them I have always enjoyed. One of them is Jumping in an Elevator by Mike's Mike. He's recently done a comeback on his podcast and I'm so excited. I love anything he does really, but his podcasts are just really fun. It's like an hour of him just chatting about random pop culture stuff or anything that is on his mind really. Growing up with Keelan, again, love Keelan Moncrief. Anything she does, I'm obsessed with. I used to really like her old podcast, and obviously this one is a new one she's done, and I get so excited whenever she uploads an episode. This summer I also started listening to Grandmom, which is a bit more topical. They have a topic every episode, but they do start every episode just talking about random stuff like updates on their life, which I really enjoy as well. It's just really entertaining and fun. The Restless Entertainment is really, really interesting. I started listening to that when Baby Reindeer came out, and I saw a clip of them talking about Baby Reindeer on their podcast. They have such good industry insight into journalism, behind the scenes of movie sets, game show sets, TV show sets, any kind of background information you want to know about the entertainment industry will be in this podcast. It's super interesting. They do 2 episodes a week. One of them will be a questions and answers one, so they'll answer any like niche questions about the industry, and then one will be more topical on recent events, recent updates. The most recent one I listened to was on the downfall of Cameo, which is really, really interesting to like hear about their money issues and stuff, I guess. Then we obviously had the general election this summer. I'm quite interested in politics. I realized that I want to be a bit more engaged with that kind of side of things, so I started listening to Politics Joe, which was very educational around the time of the election. It started to get a little bit less educational now. They are kind of just chatting, which I'm also fine with. I find it very entertaining. But yeah, those are like the 5 podcasts that I listen to regularly. Then we are also coming to the last category, which is music. I feel like I'm not very original. At the end of the day, I am just one of the girls, and I've been loving Billie Eilish's new album, Charli XCX, Chaperone. They've kind of been like my top listens, I guess, this summer. I think Charli's album has really gotten me back into some more like techno dance music this summer. I saw a very interesting TikTok, which I can't find anymore. I'm gonna try and find it and insert it, but if I can't, the premise was essentially that the rise in dance and house music and like techno music at the moment is a reflection of our like economic state, which I'm gonna absolutely butcher it talking about it, but I found that so interesting. Like, people are struggling money-wise, the job market is really bad, no one can afford buying a house, so people just want to dance to get some like serotonin in, essentially. Like, all I wanted to do after Charli's album came out was go to the club, and I'm not a consistent going out kind of girl, which is why I've been listening to a lot of Fred again. Barry Can't Swim, his set at Reading was amazing. I watched it back on the iPlayer. Jungle, their Glastonbury set was insane. So I've been listening to a lot of jungle as well, and then some more like random like top songs. Sexy to Someone by Clairo has been on repeat. Favorite by Fontaine's DC. I feel like that was such a good summer song release. And then a bit more of a sad one is Everything and Nothing by Soft Play. That song just gets me every time. It is very sad. It's very, very sad. And yeah, that brings us to the end of my summer favorites. I hope they were somewhat interesting. I think I was very good at keeping it more general, you know, not about too many products, because that's also not really me. I don't really go shopping. My makeup is the same as it always has been. I am gonna have some breakfast, edit this video, and then I think later this afternoon we're going to our friend's house and play some board games, maybe get a takeaway, and then I think I'm going out tonight as well. I'm gonna try and not drink. We'll see how that goes. I think I'm just gonna have some sparkling water, some cigarettes, and have a dance. That's all I need. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.